right. So it appears that Andrew Yang, NYC mayoral candidate, has conceded in the race. Now, the NYC results, somewhat of the results came out yesterday. There's still ranked choice vote. They actually have ranked choice voting for their race, which is actually really cool. I guess what they do is until someone gets a majority of the votes, the person in last, they get kicked off, and then whoever the people who voted for them is their primary, whoever was the secondary, it goes to them, and they keep doing that until there's someone who got a majority. So he was looked at as a front runner in the race in the beginning. So this is actually, in my opinion, quite a bit of a failure, I would say. He was pretty big. He was like the big candidate in the beginning. But after that, I guess his candidacy really fizzled out. The hypothesis that I saw was because there was a big crime issue in New York, and he wasn't somebody who had a lot of experience, and New Yorkers wanted someone with experience to deal with the issue and all of that stuff. So that was one of the things. But Andrew Yang, he took a centrist turn towards the end, and he started saying a bunch of centrist stuff to try to appeal more to the center in the race. It's very characteristic of Andrew Yang to do, because nobody really knows any of his opinions outside of UBI. He said that he supported Medicare for All. He completely lied about that. He does not support Medicare for All either. It's also not really even clear what kind of UBI he supports, whether or not he supports a UBI that actually replaces Social Security and other entitlements and benefits. It's not very clear. He changed his opinion on that, but how am I supposed to believe you if you lied about Medicare for All? He's also a very big fan of Israel. He is just somebody who is not very clear. To me, he's more of a libertarian Trojan horse guy. I don't believe he's a real progressive. He lied about being pro-Medicare for all. He only ended up getting like 11% in the race. Here was his quote. He said, "I'm not going to be the mayor of New York City based upon the numbers that have come in tonight. I am conceding this race, though we're not sure who's the next mayor is going to be, but whoever that person is, I'll be very happy to work with them to improve the lives of the 8.3 million people who live in our great city, and I encourage everyone here to do the same." Yang said he doesn't regret working with his competitor, Catherine Garcia, adding that he would do it all over again because he believes she should be the next mayor. So he did lose this race. I believe Maya Wiley, I think, is the real progressive in this. I know that there's supposed to be another candidate who's also supposed to be pretty progressive, potentially. But I think AOC and Jamal Bowman both endorsed Maya Wiley. So I'm glad Andrew Yang has lost. I'm not a fan of Andrew Yang even in the slightest. But we're going to have to see who ends up actually winning the race here. Hopefully it will be Wiley. But yes, this is, how much of a failure do you consider this to be is really the question. He had a lot of steam. He was viewed as the, pretty clear front runner in the beginning of the race, but then it eroded, and you see how Andrew Yang is kind of a chameleon, and he'll sort of just change like Hillary with his positions and what he's saying. I mean, he started saying some pretty crazy stuff towards the end. So I would definitely say it was it's not like a major failure, like his career is over, but I would say it's at least somewhat of a failure. But you can never say that running for office and losing is necessarily like a total failure, especially because you don't know what the future holds. But I do think that this is at least somewhat significant.